Hey guys, welcome back to the Fern Developments channel. We're back at the care home. In this episode, we're going to be taking you through the process of finishing the plasterboarding, skimming and the mist coats. We are also going to be installing the oak fire doors and the latches. We are going to begin our journey of the full renovation, which starts right here in the residents' living quarters. But before we get onto that, we're going to be discussing how we're going to get power out to the new wing. We're also going to be looking at the finished tiles on the wet room area. And to wrap up, we're going to be getting the doors and the windows and the insulation in the garden room. Let me take you back to the beginning and show you the process. Hey guys, right, so we've been a bit busy on site at the moment. We've had Lee Marks and the crew in doing the plastering. They're doing a really good job here. Everything's really starting to come together. So we've had a few rooms skimmed, really nice finish. We've got a little bit of boarding left to finish off. A couple of final stud walls have gone in, these are going to be the fire doors which will shut automatically should there ever be an incident where there is a fire. God forbid there won't. There's 2 sets of them. Everything else is all boarded up lovely. Right, dude?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Living the dream?
Yeah.
Living the dream?
Always.
I'm just living the dream.
Yeah. Right, so we've had some more plastering going on in here, which is looking really good. We've got the door linings going in now, and we've got a couple more door linings. Beans has just got a final bit of dot and dab to do in here, which I'm sure he's really excited about.
Yeah.
In order for us to run efficiently on a site this size, we would have already started the plastering and door linings further down the building. So we will basically get in there, finish boarding one room, the door lining will go in, then the plaster will come in, and we'll kind of follow each other right through. Here is a really good example of us working as a duo. Whilst the boys are in the other room finishing the plasterboarding, we have the mirror man in here who is prepping for the plaster. So he's getting all of his scrim tape on, which is basically a material tape which is taped over all the joints in the plasterboard, which stops the skim from cracking at a later date. Whilst he's cracking on with that, we've got Pete who's going to be fitting all the door linings in preparation, ready for him to skim into and form a really nice flat surface for the architraves to go on later. Within the space of half an hour, door linings are in, first set of skim is on. Now we make a start on the hallway and literally start working our way down through the building. You see we've got borders finishing, door linings going in, then the plasterer comes in and hits it straight away. And in a few hours time, I'm pretty sure I've got the carpenters lined up to come and start getting architraves on. Here he is, the man with the trowel, the mirror man, that's what I'm going to call you. Right, Jake, the mirror man. He's been banging on some more plaster, making this building look lovely. So yeah, really coming together now. Over the next few days, we should really see most of the skim done and everything really coming to life. Stay tuned, catch you in a bit. We've got the final bit of plaster going on, which is absolutely amazing. It's really coming together now. The boys are busy in here. We've called in this guy for some extra help, some extra guns. Down here we got the electricians in here.
This is the sign of a panic.
They have basically started cutting holes everywhere, finding all their cables, because last thing we want to do is get everything decorated, then go, oh no, we can't find this cable, and then we've got to cut holes in everything and redecorate it all. So we kind of do that now at this stage, so that we know that everything's where it should be and we're not going to have any issues at a later date. Catch you in a bit. Right, so we got Callum in to come and help us get the final bits of plastering done, because I've got the decorators in on Monday and Tuesday, and we've got to get this done for the weekend to give it a couple of days of drying out to try and give us a chance of it being dry enough to paint. So it's always the case that when we're really busy, we get a massive delivery come in, and this is definitely not a small delivery. These are the main beams that are going to be holding the house up when we do the final knock through. What you can see here is the guys will have a quick chat and try and work out the best way of manoeuvring these beams in a workable order and lift them off efficiently and safely. I'm going to explain a little bit more about the beams now. Obviously I would help, but I've just recently had an operation on my shoulder, so I can't really help the boys on this one, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Right, looks ready. Yeah. Keep your end up. Keep your end up. Boom. There.
Well done, boys. 3 240 kilo steels in position, ready. Right, so the main plan is going to be to set up a winch off of this beam up here with a chain on it, winch the steels up, pivot one side into a pad stone which is going to be there, and then once that is on the pad stone, then we'll loosen the winch, lift the other end and prop the other end in on the pad stone over here. Let's see how that goes. Peter and the puzzle. So Pete has been working really hard in this bathroom to make some sense of all the tiles. Now, we've got a bit of a brick bond going on and we like to make it look like a full tile wraps around the wall. So obviously that means we've got to check all of these corners and see how tight it gets and what size cut, because we don't want to end up with a little sliver, one that is liable to snap and it doesn't look really good. So he's been working really hard planning it all out. We've also got some quartz shelves going in this corner, which is like a black sparkle. So yeah, this is all coming together now. Pete's cracking on. I'll show you some more progress in a bit. Bye-bye. So now this is an extremely difficult bathroom to tile because all the corners are 45 degrees and you have these two little window alcoves which are basically letting in the natural light from the skylights on the other side of the wall. So Peter really wants to make sure that we don't end up with a sliver and it finishes on a full tile when it hits that window. So he's actually set a batten around the top of the room, which is quite an unusual way of doing it because you would normally start at the bottom. But because he doesn't want to have a little sliver by the window or have a fragile cut, he's started bang on the top. So he's got his top rows in and now he's reverted back down to the bottom. So he would have measured down in increments of tile spaces, and there's also like a border going through the middle. So he would have worked it out and then set out his bottom batten, made it perfectly level so that he can then start from the bottom and work up. So with the bathroom nearing completion, the clients have asked us if we could transform one of the living areas because the poor residents have put up with this building work for so long, all the noise and the dust and everything. We thought it would be really nice to give them a feel of what the home is actually going to be like when it's complete. So as you can see, the dream team have all mucked together and all joined forces and to get this all done. So we have the mirror man who is busy preparing for the plastering and getting the bonding on the walls. We have Pete who is working really hard to do the boarding around the doors and everything to get that all dot and dabbed, so that's going off ready for skimming. We have Alex and Josh stripping off wallpaper and getting PVA on ready for plastering. We've also got to get some skirting boards on and picture rails on at the same time. In order to get this done, we have only got two 2-hour windows per day, as this is their breakfast room, lunch room and dining room. So with the mad rush that we're in, we actually forgot to set up the camera for the plastering. So with a little bit of movie magic, we can show that it is done. So that's in, we've got all the skirting and architraves on now. So yeah, everything's coming together. Decorator's gonna be here in half an hour. So by tomorrow morning, hey presto. So the boys have got it all done. Everything is plastered, it's had time to dry, and the decorators are in to start their preparation and begin their mist coats. So they start taping up all of the Velux windows, the door frames, and get it all ready for spraying. Now that the preparation is complete, it's time for Jordan to start spraying the walls. He's particularly good at this process and can spray a building of this size in just a couple of hours. Ceiling to floor, making his way down through the building. You'll notice that he left a couple of walls because they just weren't dry enough. He'll come back and revisit them the next day. Right, so everything's going really well here at the moment. As you can see, this room behind me is pretty much completely transformed over a couple of evenings. So the decorator done really well yesterday. They got in here, they sprayed it all, they filled everything. So basically they're going to be in tonight and start putting some colour in, which is going to be amazing. We've got the owner there, Andy. He's decided that they want to get this beam stripped back to the original wood, so he's working hard on that at the moment. So hopefully that's going to bring a bit of colour into the room, and yeah, it looks like we're all going to be ready for the carpet to go down on Tuesday. Really excited about that, to get this room done, ticked off, finished. So yeah, See you in a bit.
Tomorrow for sure.
Absolute hell of a room, but with our new pitch rail on there and there, knock through done here, skirting boards on, through into the extension, all the PVC finished. So we had about an afternoon to get the residents out of here and do all the prep work for the plasterers to come in the afternoon. I think it ended up being one morning and one afternoon. And then they came in, lots of hard walling, bit of dot and dabbing, everything, because this is such an old building. We've had the sparkies in and the paint and decorators in all at the same time. Complete revamp of the whole job. Little walk around, the carpet fitters have been in today, so everyone's been outside having their lunch. But great job from everyone. And that's it, done. The owner took this one back to the old wood because there was a bit of lacquer on there. So now we just got to finish up the other side to get this door open. But that's for the next one. A few grey hairs from this one. Bush. I also have no idea why I wore sunglasses indoors for all of that.
Hi guys. Right, so now we're going to be coming to the point where we're going to look at opening up the new wing, which I'm really excited about. There's a few things that we have to do first. So we've got to get power in there. We've been working off of an old fuse board at the moment, which is in here. So at the moment, this is still live, and that's what we've been using to get all of our power for the new build whilst we've been doing it, because we can't disconnect that until this one is connected. So I've got to figure out how to get this cable. And it's a bit of a conundrum because it's got to go through their only working toilet. So ideally, I'd like to open up this block and give them these two toilets to use and open that door so that they can all come in here to use the toilet. But what's stopping them from doing that is the fact there is no power in here, because it's all in here. So this is where we have to get on that big cable to. We have to run it around the outside of the building, all the way across here, and then through the wall. And then that's going to run through this wall here, which is going to drop down to the fuse board on the other side. And then we can get some power. So let me show you the main route for the new cable, for the new fuse board in the extension area. We basically need to get that big cable from this point here all the way to this point here. And the best way that we figured out to do that is to run the cable in the new ceiling out to the alleyway, and then run it all the way along the alleyway in a really nice neat trunking, and then basically bring it in through this nib here, through this wall, across the new ensuite area, and into the new fuse board, which is directly on the back of this wall. And then we can liven up the whole extension, and then we can look at starting to move residents around into different parts of the extension, allowing us to finish the renovations inside.
So now the mist coat's on, as mentioned before, we've obviously got a lot of cables in the ceiling for our downlights. Now what we do is we take measurements of where they all are. They're then buried, boarded over and plastered. But what we'd like to do beforehand is we will then drill out for the downlights, just in case if we do make any mistakes, which rarely happens, we're able to correct that without making too much mess, and the finish is still pretty good. Also, what we're doing now, leaning towards the second fix, a lot of cables now will be obviously just as they are ready to go. Might have a little bit of paint on, but everything is labelled. So if I show you just down here to one of the bedrooms where I've been working, what we've done is we basically strip the cables back, go back into the labelling, relabel, put on the appropriate sleeving, get all of our neutral connections together, all of the earths, etc. This will be the light switch for the bathroom. Everything is labelled, so for instance we'll have a cable that's our main in, another cable going to the light, one to the fan, one to the sensor which will turn the lights on. We've also got a shaver point and a mirror point. So as you can see here, as I've been stripping back, I've then relabeled, put on the appropriate sleeving to show what cables are live, etc. All of our neutrals are together, and also the earths. And we just basically repeat that process through each room, so on and so forth.
Hi, my name is Taig from Exeter Carpentry Contractors. We've been subbed in by Fern Developments to install these oak fire doors finished with the brass ironmongery. As you can see, these have been finished with the Exeter Carpentry standard. which means you can always expect an exceptional finish of work. So these have been fitted to the BM Charter standard. You've got the intermittent smoke seal, which is the highest regarded seal that you can get. Door stops are in. All we have now remained in is to put the door closers on the entrances to the bedrooms, any communal areas, and that's it.
And that about wraps us up. Thank you for joining us on our journey. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.